Welcome back to today's video. I wanted your opinion. I am trying to work on using a blurred background. Sometimes I forget, sometimes I don't. And the reason is because I have a very sort of complex, busy piece of artwork. I don't even know if you can call it artwork, friends. This is from Kirkland's. What happened at Pier 1? Time out. Did Pier 1 go out of business? I believe so. I used to shop at Pier 1 for plates and ornaments and glasses and little home decor. It went away, and I used to love Pier 1. So Kirkland's is the next best thing. Mind you, most of the stuff that's in there is like mass manufactured stuff, including their artwork. Like this isn't an original painting, but I love it nonetheless, particularly because it has white florals and it looks like a gardenia flower. Is it gardenia? Let me look. Well, I don't know if it is or isn't. Perhaps it could be considered like a white floral. Anyway, it could be any number of florals, but I like it. Where was I going with this? What do you think of the blurred background? Is it okay for you, or do you prefer it to be in focus? This is the problem with the blurred background. Let me show you what happens. Let me give you an example. So if I wanted to show you this nail polish from OPI, which by the way is what I have on, and it's called Put It in Neutral. Gosh, I'm really loving these nudie colors. I kind of have to hold it up in front of me so that you see it. Otherwise, the camera picks it up as like blurred into the background. So that's the only issue, but I like the overall effect of like focusing on the person speaking versus the stuff in the background. Why did I bring that up? Oh, because I wanted your your opinion. What do you think? Is this better, or do you prefer the detailed background? So I wanted to do my monthly favorites and then maybe a couple of other reflections, but wanted to start off with gratitude, which I've been doing in a lot of my videos lately. And the first point of gratitude actually relates back to something I was talking about in the last video. So thank you again for all of your lovely comments. I appreciate everyone that weighed in the last video where I was talking about clarity being a gift and the Mel Robbins let them concept. I feel kind of weird attributing that concept to her because it's not her original idea, but she sort of revived it in her book. So we'll just say it's a Mel Robbins concept, at least in contemporary. Is contemporary the right word? I'm making stuff up. Contemporary culture here. Friends, I talked about clarity being a gift. What I mean by that in the last video is when you see more clearly than you did before, and you don't ascribe judgment to that. You don't think negatively or positively. You're just more clear on a situation, on how someone feels about something, on how you feel about something, on what the circumstances of a situation are or are not, or how they are contributing factors or maybe impeding factors to, making progress on something. Any number of ways that you can think about clarity, how you feel about yourself. It's a gift. And so I wanted to relate the clarity concept to someone that I've been watching on social media more lately. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk, and he goes by Gary V. V-E-E, Gary V on social media. He is everywhere. I watch him on YouTube because that's the platform that I interact with the most. And then probably second to that is Facebook. Can I pause and say that I shut down my Instagram account? So, and I want to share why. I was getting very strange DMs on Instagram. I think the name at that point was Essential Veronica. I had been through sort of several iterations of an Instagram account. I think one was called Veronica Says All when I started the fragrance channel, and it was connected to fragrance. And then when I started this second channel, I tried to do two Instagram accounts to keep up with, one connected to the fragrances and one connected to the rest of life. And it just became really, really overwhelming. And so I just collapsed everything into one Instagram handle that I think was just Essential Veronica. And, on Instagram, anyone can follow you if you allow that to be open, if you don't like set the settings to approve people to follow you or whatever. And because I wanted to connect it to my YouTube accounts, which anyone can subscribe or unsubscribe, it made sense for me to have those Instagram accounts also be open. And so what started to happen over time is that you can get DMs, which is direct message. If you're not on Instagram, it's just the messaging feature. Like if you are on Facebook, there's like Facebook chat or something. I forget what it's called on there, but it's just the chat feature where anybody who's connected to you or anybody who's even not connected to you, depending on how you put your settings, they can send you something called a DM, which is a direct message. And it shows up as like a little private chat. And I was starting to get some weird chat messages from people who, have you ever heard of the term parasocial, paranormal? Not paranormal. Oh my God. I think it's parasocial. Hang on. Yes, it's called parasocial. Forgive me. So, parasocial refers to a one sided, imagined connection or relationship, often between a person and a celebrity, fictional character, or other public figure, where the fan or follower feels a sense of intimacy or friendship despite no real life interaction. But then there were some people that just felt entitled to cross some lines in DMs that I think most normal adjusted humans would find socially unacceptable. Like they would never dare. There are some things I would never myself dare put into a DM, even to other like content creators that I feel like I've grown somewhat close to in whatever way you can with a virtual relationship. But I was getting these DMs from people who were saying things and telling me things that were just, I felt inappropriate. And I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. This is weird. And it started to happen, like I would ignore them. And it started to happen at such a volume that I felt grossly uncomfortable and I felt a little bit violated. So I shut down my Instagram account. How did I get from talking about Gary Vee to this? So back to Gary Vee. I am grateful for his presence in social media. I've been following Gary Vee on and off since about 2016, 17, somewhere in there. So that's like what, 8 or 9 years or so, coming up on 10 years here soon. Gary Vee is the child of Russian immigrants. He was actually born in the USSR, and I believe in the late 70s, early 80s, like still during the Cold War. We're talking about Ronald Reagan era, friends here. Like if you're that old, you understand what I'm talking about. His parents came over and they started a successful liquor store in New Jersey somewhere. So Gary Vee started to work in his dad's liquor store, worked his way up, ended up creating a, I believe like an online, maybe it was in person too. The details don't matter, but like a wine like empire. He did some things that nobody else had done at that time, and he was foreseeing, like predicting that social media would take things over, and all of his predictions have come true. And I don't say that to say that he's like a Nostradamus or something like that, but just to say he's a really sharp business dude, and I appreciate his style. And so he get your words together. He founded Vayner Media. And so it's a worldwide like advertising company basically. They do media, right? Social media and advertising space and all this and that. And what I appreciate about Gary Vee is he does a lot of talks. He gets on stage, he does podcasts, he does videos, and in every message that he gives is the same message of empowerment. And hear me when I say this, and I'm so grateful for this message because it is true in the most humbling way. And it's something along the lines of nobody cares about you. Nobody cares what you've suffered through or what problems you face. And you only have one life. So stop stressing about what everybody else thinks about you and follow your dreams. Grind and work hard. And what I really appreciate about him is that he doesn't BS anyone into thinking, here's the 3 magic things that you need to do to be successful in life. His whole motto is you have to work hard and grind at what you do, and you will likely go through a number of failures before you hit some level of success. And that it looks different for everyone. Everyone's journey is different, but you will always be at ground zero, at point 1 if you don't start. His whole message is you want to do something, start. Put effort into it, grind at it, learn it, succeed, fail, succeed again, fail twice more, succeed 3 times more, whatever. And so he's really down to earth and he's really inspiring. And it's great to just listen to even like 3 minutes of him because he's really raw with people. And here's the trick, in a way that's incredibly empathetic. Like he's never condescending, even though if you don't know him, some of his words do sound condescending, but behind it is really, I want you to succeed. And I want you to stop feeling sorry for yourself and putting barriers up for yourself and giving yourself reasons and excuses why you can't do what everybody else is doing. You're just as good. You're just as smart. You're just as hardworking, or you can be. Put the time in. And it's just like, it's a really sort of liberating mindset. So I'm grateful for the Gary Vee mindset, is what I will call it. And because he's in my age group, I feel like he's a peer in the sense that, my parents are from Puerto Rico. They were both born there, but, and they're not considered immigrants because Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States. And, Puerto Ricans are citizens and all of that. But they faced similar challenges as when they came to New York and started their life there. Well, my mom came when she was a baby and my dad came when he was about 18 or so. Anyway, what I'm getting at is they had to really work hard. They never achieved the level of success that they hoped for us, but they came a long way with what they had and the education they did or did not have at that time. And so I just really appreciate Gary Vee's mentality on all of that. And that here's what I love the most. It's not about becoming rich. That's great if you have a lot of money. It's about becoming happy. Like being happy with what you've achieved, whatever that is. And I just love that message. I think it's fantastic. So that's gratitude point number 1. Gratitude point number 2 is for Rogaine. I didn't bring it in here, but I just want to say, I think I see some little hairs growing out here and there in these spots. I mean, you can see some of the gray hair growing out. That's all new growth. Thank you, Jesus. Because I felt like it was falling out in clumps, which was happening, as you lose weight. That's just like a normal thing. And then the third thing that I'm grateful for is spring break. Even though I'm going to work a little bit this week, I'm going to take a couple days off and just do something really interesting and different and unique. And we're going to watch the Minecraft movie this week. I bought tickets. It's released on Thursday night, and I can't wait to just hang out and be a mom and enjoy the mom time and watch Minecraft and like have that moment of youthful spirit again. All right, so let me talk about the 10 favorites from this month, and I'll try to be quick even though my intro was ridiculously long. Thank you for indulging me in that. Where possible, I will link these below, and I think maybe one or two of these would be in the Amazon storefront that's linked below as well. Everything else I will link as I can. So I'm going to start off with small eyeshadows, and I have two different kinds to show you. So I'm in my small eyeshadow era. I still have a lot of big, eyeshadows with a lot of pans in them. Big eyeshadow palettes, right? But I'm really, really enjoying smaller eyeshadows that fit in my hand and give me a smaller color story to work with. So there's not like a lot of guesswork in it. So I have two that I want to call out. I'm going to start off with these. See, you can't, they don't focus back there. These two, like Charlotte Tilbury, they're called the Luxury Palette Color Coded eyeshadows. There's a bunch of these. They're sold on Ulta, they're sold on Sephora, of course, the Charlotte Tilbury site, and a bunch of other sites that sell beauty products. Two in particular that I want to show you. The one that was most famous was Pillow Talk, and that's like a pinky story. That one's nice too, but I didn't get that one. This is my favorite. It's called the Uptown Girl. So here is the color story for this. It comes with a mirror, of course. It's easy, it's simple. Let me swatch these for you. So here is the color story. It's all nice and creamy. This shade here, which is that one, is like a little bit of a chunkier, maybe glittery type. Glitter's not the right word, maybe like metallic glitter, something like that. This is a shimmer sheen shadow. And then here are the two others over here. And I love the richness of that particular shadow there. I mean, like that can be a one and done shadow for your entire eyelid and up into the crease. And then you can maybe place this glittery, whatever you want to call this, over that. Let me try that so you see what the effect is. There, to just if you wanted like a more nighttime glimmery look, glimmery, whatever. Anyway, this is an easygoing day-to-day shadow combination here that you can use very subtly, or you can glam it up for night and do a more smoky look using this color. And I think it's fabulous. It's hard to mess this up. I think that gray tones look good on a lot of different skin tones too, which I appreciate. And then the second color story I actually have on my eyes. So I'm going to close my eyes and hope that I don't have a lot of glue on these false eyelashes to mess up the idea here. So this one is called the Golden Goddess, and it has mostly shimmery, not mostly, it has all shimmery shades or something metallic or whatever. This one's a little bit chunkier. These are more sort of smooth sheens, and I really like the overall look. This one is the one that is on the inside of the lid. I'll tell you in a minute what's over that too. There's something that's giving it a little bit more glitz and glamour. This color here, I put from the middle to the end. I used this brown tone and sort of blew it up through the top of the eye socket there, and this one is probably the deepest color, even though it looks like this one is darker. This gray one is darker, and I put it in the very deep part of the crease to kind of deepen it and make it look like my eye socket is deeper than it is. I mean, if this isn't the most travel-friendly little thing with foolproof eyeshadows, and there's color stories for just about every taste. So that's item number one. I'll go ahead and talk about the glimmery thing that's here, because and this will be item number two. It's from Kylie Cosmetics. This is called the Wet Shimmer Quad. I think this is supposed to be competing, and I don't know if it's intended to compete on purpose or not, supposed to be competing with the Urban Decay. What are they called? Like Space Cowboy shadows? I don't know if Space Cowboy is one particular shadow or or the type. I think it's one shadow that everybody fell in love with, but it's these kind of glimmery toppers. So this is the one that I have. You see how that looks over that other shade from Charlotte Tilbury to sort of zhuzh it up. But I love the colors on these, and I love that you can just dot it on or you can really go in. Either one. And look at that. It just adds a whole lot of fun glamour. I really, really like this one. This one can be an all over lid shade on its own. It's got a little bit of a brown tone to it. How fun is that? And then the one in the corner is more like silvery. This is fun, and you can put this over any eyeshadow, or you can use it alone. You can do inner corner. You can have all kinds of fun with this. You can put it on your cheek if you really wanted to be crazy and be super glittery for something fun. And this little compact cost, I think it was like $25. And of course, I got it on sale, y'all, because I buy all of my cosmetics on sale for the most part, except for this next one that I'm going to tell you because it wasn't on sale. So I did a thing. I said I wasn't going to get the Betty eyeshadow palette from Lisa Eldridge. Well, I caved. I purchased it, but I did a thing and I changed out the three purpley eyeshadows. There's like a lilac one and a deeper purple one that's beautiful. And I forget what the third color one, it was like a duochrome. And I replaced those so that the palette now looks like this, which is right up my alley. And I love the buttery nature of these. I believe it is these two and that one that are in the original palette. And then I replaced three, the purpley ones. This is I think, I forget what it's called, but it's like a luster. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. I'll put it on the screen, but it's like a kind of velvety matte shadow. So let me show you what that looks like. Isn't that pretty? It's both sheer and pigmented enough that you can have a lot of fun with this, and it has like this buttery texture while also being dry. Don't ask me how that works, but it does. And then this one is out of the Fawn palette, which I have here also, and I believe the color is called Moon Swirl. It is a metallic. Look at that. And so that's another one of those colors like the ones in the Kylie Cosmetics that work best when I mean, you can put it on by itself, of course, but when you dab it over any eyeshadow, it like zhuzhes up that particular eyeshadow. And then I added this one too, and I forget what this is called. Isn't that buttery and beautiful? Let me just go on and swatch the other ones for you. You've seen these in other videos, I'm sure, if you are an eyeshadow junkie like I tend to be. Oh gosh, I think that one is called Kitten's Paw, Talk to the Paw. And it's such a beautiful one and done eyeshadow. All of these are one and dones. And I think that's what I love about the set the most. You can wear any one of these colors on their own or layer it together. Ooh, look at that. So that's what the new palette looks like, and I'm quite pleased with it. And I can have a lot of fun with it. I can use these two colors together. I can just do a look with these two. I can pair this matte with any one of these shadows and it just kind of works. I can use this metallic topper over all of these. Let me put it over this one so you get the idea of what it does. There. You see how it just dresses it up, takes it to like a nighttime flare? I'm really, really happy with this. And even though the palette itself, I love these little components, so creative. I think the palette cost 60 something on its own. And with the other three shadows, I ended up paying, I want to say like $12, $13 or $14 per shadow. And I don't have any regrets. I used that shadow for the most of last week and really quite enjoyed it. I also own her Vega and Fawn palettes. So here is the Vega. It's more sort of cool toned grayish and it doesn't look like a lot, but if you're the kind of person that enjoys a subtle look and you want the formula to be amazing, even though it isn't the most glitzy formula, beautiful, beautiful palettes. I mean, whatever lab Lisa Eldridge works with to formulate her eyeshadows, kudos, kudos. So here's the Fawn palette, and there's what that looks like. So that topper shadow is this one, and then I bought an extra one to put in the Betty palette. This right here, this is, I forget what these are called. Let me see what if it says it here. Okay, this one, it's called the Velvet Formula. It's like matte with a tiny, tiny bit of luster to it, but it just feels like a second skin. When you put this through your crease, you can't tell me nothing. If you're my skin tone or lighter or maybe a tiny bit more chocolate, this will work. I don't know that this would show up on very, very darker chocolate skin tones. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, the Lisa Eldridge shadows for me, they do no wrong. They do no wrong. Between that and the Natasha Denona shadows, the Viseart, the Byredo, like I'm set for life with the most beautiful shadows. I also went ahead and purchased, just because it was so raved about and I thought it was slightly novel, the Kitten Lash Mascara from Lisa Eldridge, and this is in the color Burnt Umber. This one is brown. And it's like this dark chocolatey brown, which I love. So it shows up brown on your lashes and it's great. I have three more makeup products and then a few other kinds of products. I wanted to give a shout out to RMS Beauty. This sort of simple packaging, this component, I appreciate the simplicity of it and it's classy. This is called the Living Luminizer Glow Quad and it looks like this. It has a mirror too, but I have, which one? I think it's this one on my cheek. And what it does is you can put it on over something. Let me see if I can put it on without messing up my makeup. Wish me luck here. and it gives a very subtle glow, like your skin is glowing from within. I usually put it on under makeup versus over like I'm doing right now, and I appreciate that it's not an obnoxious highlighter. I mean, you don't look like you're trying to be something you're not. You just look like you are glowy, like your skin is juicy, and I like that. Do I wanna put some on the edge of my nose? Not really. Maybe a little bit. Anyway, I like that it gives a little bit of light. It allows the light, any one of these colors, allows the light to bounce off of wherever you put it. You can use this as eyeshadow too. It's very creamy though. So you want to put that down. Could you put, I guess you could put one of those other sort of like metallic where it looks like loose powder over that if you want, or you can just use this alone to add some light and lightness to your shadow without actually using eyeshadow or looking like you have a lot of makeup on. And so that's the shine on my face right there, okay? Really, really good, small packaging. Again, this is very discreet and easy to travel with if needed. I think in the last monthly favorites, or maybe in the one before that, the January one, I raved and raved about the Tom Ford Architecture Soft Matte, whatever foundation, which I love. I'm still wearing that, adore it. Now officially feel like I can't live without it. I feel the same way about this foundation, and it's one that I've had for a long time. Well, I guess what's a long time? Is 2 years considered a long time? And I'm about ready for a new one of this particular bottle, but this is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. So I have two. This is more recent. I think I bought this in the last Sephora sale. One is in the color 300 medium neutral. That's the one that I'm wearing today and that I bought first and fell in love with first. And then I ended up getting 325 medium warm for when I have more color on my face. This is one of the most skin-like, natural-looking foundations without looking cakey, overdone. If you're light with it, no one will even tell that you have foundation on. So I'm wearing it today. I did powder over it. What powder did I use? I think it was the Laura Mercier Blur Translucent, whatever, the new blurring powder. I have that on over it, and I'm still oily. Like, I'm an oily gal. I moisturize very well before I put any makeup on, and then I just emit oil all day long. I'm shiny as can be. And I like it. I like looking dewy, glistening, and glowy, although a lot of it is natural. So I'm wearing the lighter color today, and I cannot live without this at this point. This is like a holy grail foundation for when you want to look natural. Like, you can still see all of the skin texture on my pores. Pardon me for banging on the microphone here. And yet the color on my face is evened out. Maybe you can't tell that because you don't know what it looks like beforehand, or you haven't seen me without makeup before or whatever. But I love how natural looking, and like, it doesn't offend anyone. No one's gonna look at your face and be like, Chickadee has too much makeup on. It's natural looking. So I love it. Last makeup product, and then I'll talk about some other lovely things in my life. I'm really digging lately, especially as we go into spring here. And when I'm in a rush in the mornings, I know I can put these Fenty Gloss Bomb Stix, I think they're called, with an X on the end, Stix with an X, on my face. I'm missing one out of this pile that I think is in my purse in my car, and that's the most chocolate color. I think it's called chocolate with an IT on the end, chocolate. That color goes on brown, but it settles down more like maroon. And so it tricks you a little bit. But these three colors I'm really enjoying. This color was actually sent to me by the brand when they did this campaign recently. I missed the campaign and I like filled out the form too late to get the products in time to do a video. So they sent me this and the setting spray. And this color, the pinky one, this one is called Is It Fussy? If you're not familiar with these, it's like gloss and lipstick all in one. I was going to put it on, but it doesn't really match. Let me just do this on the back of my hand. There you go. So that's like a mauvey, cool toned, almost like glossy lipstick or lipsticky gloss, however you look at it. They're not the longest lasting, so you have to reapply because as you move around and eat and things like that, it kind of brushes off your lips or fades off or whatever. But when you put this on over a lip liner, it's like you have a whole lip look in one. And I love that the compartments are colored like the inside, and so it matches the color tone. This one is called Spice Cold. It looks like that. I've worn the heck out of that one recently. Maybe I'll put it on over my lip in a second. And then the color Sorta Selfish, Sorta Selfish. Actually, do I want to put Sorta Selfish on? Let's see. It's a very comfortable formula. It smells great. It smells like candy. It's like candy. This one is Spice Cold. Let me try that one on right over the other one. Very glossy, very glossy. I like these a lot. So they're just easygoing, easy to apply, easy to reapply after you eat or move through the day or find that it's fading. And how much are they in the sale? The Sephora sale's coming up, 20% off. I think they're like in the 20 something dollar range. I think it's an easy pickup. Is that right? Now I have to go look. Un momento, por favor. Oh my goodness, these are $25. So with the 20% off, if you're a Rouge member, they come in at $20. You get the $5 off. I like it. I like it a lot. So then other products, if you are Casper the Ghost pale as I am, like I would probably blend into the white of this shirt if I didn't have this next product. These are the Isle of Paradise tanning drops. So freaking easy to use. In fact, let me show you. Y'all don't believe how pale I am? Here's my natural Casper the Ghost color right here. So I'm only like, but here's what I'll do. I mix it with my moisturizer in the morning, and not every morning, just the mornings that I feel like I'm getting paled out. And I put it all over my face. Try to get your ears too, because I forget, and then my ears are all pale in comparison to the rest of my face. I get my entire neck, and then I go like down about here, so where you can see it in the shirt. And I also do my hands and most of my arm. So if I wore a short sleeve shirt today, you would see massive paleness like right here. So I need to do a little bit better about that, but I'm just not caring these days. And I haven't gone to like the tanning booth. I used to do spray tan. I still do. I don't know why I said used to. I still do spray tan, but I paused it because I've been using these. So when I get back to the summer months and I'm wearing like sleeveless dresses and things like that, I'll go tan the full body. But if you just want a little color on your face, my pale gals, this is the way to go. This is in medium. And so I probably used maybe 5 or 6 drops with my face moisturizer yesterday. It's still going today, and it'll probably not fade for another 2 or 3 days, so that's nice. Do y'all know about this dry shampoo? This is the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Advanced Clean Dry Shampoo. It's what I used in my hair today. I think this is probably one of the most effective shampoos at not completely mattifying your hair so that you can tell that you have dry shampoo, because one that does that is the Dry Bar one. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Dry Bar, and you can get it in the brunette. You get it in blonde, brunette, and I forget the redhead color if they have it. I don't know if they have the redhead. But anyway, when I spray that on, it completely mattifies my hair and it adds volume, and I like that. But then you're dealing with the color deposit that it left, and you're dealing with it looking almost dried out. This actually just allows you to look like normal. Normal. The only thing I don't like about this, and this is a lot of dry shampoos, they have a little bit of a vinegary smell. Do you smell that in this? I wish it had a little bit of perfume in it. But this is one of the dry shampoos, one of the only dry shampoos among like I have a small handful that don't leave residue in your hair, that don't feel sticky, icky, that don't feel like you absolutely need to wash it out the next day because it's so thick and goopy. It feels really natural and lightweight, and it does the job for me. I just wish it had a little bit better scent to it. And then a number of videos ago, maybe sometime in the fall, I talked about how I started to use organic castor oil. I don't know if the organic part matters or not. Organic golden castor oil. Get the extra virgin expeller pressed kind. And so I'm about down to where are you? Down to about here on this, and I've been using it for months. And the way that I use this is that I distribute it into this. And so this is my second fill up of this. I used it straight out of the bottle too, but I've been using it more out of this. So this is my second fill of this amber bottle. And I will take just a drop, literally is all you need, a drop or two. I mix it together and then I put it under my eyes at night after I put on my serum. So, like, I do a retinol treatment, I do some other kind of like resurfacing or similar kind of treatment. And before I put on my moisturizer, I put this castor oil on under my eyes. I put it inside of my, not inside, excuse me, not in my eye, in the crease of my eye. And I also put it around here because that is where I tend to get lines. And I put a little bit on my forehead if I remember, because I'm getting, you can see the lines showing up there. I mean, I'm 50. What do you want? Like, I wrinkle, right? And then sometimes I'll just mix it too with my moisturizer in addition to doing that, and then put it all over my face. I look like a glazed donut as I'm going to bed, and I wake up with baby soft skin. I just love this stuff. I love it. People use it for all kinds of stuff. People have put it in their belly buttons. Have you done that? I'm gonna need a witness. Somebody tell me if putting this in your belly button does something for you. I don't know. People have used this in their hair. It's too thick for me to even imagine putting this in my hair for hair growth. I'm gonna just stick to the Rogaine for that. And I don't know what the heck else people use it for. Do you use castor oil? I remember when I was little, my dad, when we had stomach aches, you know how when you're little, you eat a bunch of crap. So, like, we ate a lot of bread and didn't have fiber. Maybe we didn't eat protein. We would just eat bread like all day, bread and crackers and chips and junk food. And then we would get stomach aches. And really, what you needed to have was a bowel movement. TMI. My dad, I'm not saying that this helped. I'm saying this is what he did, like old wives' tales kinds of things. He would take some castor oil and he would like knead our bellies with it. He would slather our bellies and like knead it, which really all that was doing was probably manipulating the like intestinal tract. And is this too much information for y'all? And things would just start moving. You know what I mean? And then we would have a little bowel movement. Y'all, if I told you all the old wives' tales that made their way into the medicine in our home, it was almost like frontier medicine. Have you ever heard that term? Woo, like Little House on the Prairie type of medicine practiced in my house. And if you're from the Caribbean and maybe somewhere in the States too, like let me know if you're from Appalachia or whatever. Did y'all use Ben Gay for everything? There's a comedy skit that Chris Rock does where he talks about Robitussin being used for everything. Put some tussin on it. You break your leg, put some tussin on it. You got a sore throat, put some tussin on it. You got a gash that needs stitches, put some tussin on it. You know, whatever the problem was, put some Robitussin on it and it'll fix everything. Well, that is how Puerto Ricans are with Ben Gay. Not Ben Gay. What the hell am I talking about? Vicks, Vicks Vapor Rub. Ponte Vicks. It means in Spanish, put Vicks on it. Ponte Vicks. You know, whatever it was. You got labor pains, put some Vicks on it. Your hair's falling out, put Vicks in your hair. Your eyesight is bad, put some Vicks on your eyelid. It didn't matter what the ailment was. Put some Vicks Vapor Rub on it and life will be grand again. Where am I going with this? Castor oil is helping to moisturize my skin. One more product and then we'll get out of here. You know, I'm especially loving, like in the fragrance department, cleaner, fresher, maybe muskier scents and also florals. And so I've been reaching into a shelf that I call my everyday clean fragrances. They're not all like, I don't mean clean like ingredient clean. I mean clean is that words. In that, I can't talk today. They make you feel clean and fresh. And so today's scent of the day is Perfect Marc Jacobs. This is the EDT version. Look at the little crazy top. And so it's got the little Cinderella shoe, some cherries. What is that? Like a heart symbol, a little kitty cat. There's a bow on it, dice. What is that? That's a banana. I never noticed that it has a banana on it, a little baby shoe, a star. I mean, sheesh, some blocks with letters on them. This is the EDT. There's the EDP and there's an elixir version and an intense version. And I like this especially for this time of year when it's warmer and you just want to feel fresh and pretty and clean. It's the kind of scent that's soft wearing. Maybe no one would even notice it. No one would come up to you and go, "Oh my God, you smell beautiful." But you know you smell fresh and clean and the person would perceive you to smell fresh and clean. So this is an example. It's not about this, but it is about the category of scents that I've been loving for the month of March, even though I try and test out and wear lots of different scent family types. Oh my God, I'm tired. Are y'all tired? That was a long one. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. Remember to stay grateful, practice gratitude every day, even in moments where it feels like there's nothing to be grateful for. I really believe the phrase, there's always something to be grateful for. Have a good one, friends. Take care.